Hello. So in this video, I'm going to take a look at the Employment Rights Bill and specifically the timeline for implementation. Well, there will be consultation on some of the changes or the proposed changes. We now know the roadmap. So let's take a quick look. The bill is still working its way through Parliament, and on the screen you'll see kind of the timetable of what happens. This is available on their website, and you can see that per the screen, at the time of the recording this video, the bill is still in the House of Lords, albeit towards the latter end of the Lords part of the process. Overall, we are nearing the end of the process in terms of this bill. However, there are still some hurdles for the government to get over. Now, in terms of the timetable itself, in 2025, we will see trade union reforms, specifically repeals and reforms to make it easier for employees to organise union activities, as well as increasing protection for taking industrial action. There won't be any consultations on this year's changes. However, there will be further consultations and changes around trade unions over the next couple of years. So we'll keep an eye on that. In April 2026, we'll see changes implemented for collective redundancies, with the maximum period for the protective award doubling from 90 days to 180. So this will be consulted on at the start of next year. Other changes to the collective consultation threshold are also expected, but in 2027. Paternity leave and unpaid parental leave will become a day one right for employees next April. Also, the Fair Work Agency will be established. Now, they're going to have powers to investigate and act on breaches of employment law. We'll wait to see how that's going to work in practice. For statutory sick pay, the lower earnings limit threshold and waiting period will be removed, meaning all employees will be able to claim SSP from the first day of absence from April of 2026. Also, next year in October, the banning of fire and rehire, which is a method normally used to change contract terms, will be changed. There'll be requirements for employers to take all reasonable steps to prevent sexual harassment, as well as an obligation not to permit third-party harassment. Now, further changes are expected on this in 2027. Now, the length of time an employee has to make a tribunal claim will be doubling from 3 months, as it is now, to 6 months from autumn of 2026. So that could also provide some context for you to take a look at your processes and what you do. So let's have a look at 2027, because the government have pledged to make flexible working the default for employees. They will be consulting on this at the start of 2026 and then implementing it in 2027. Bereavement leave will be made available to all employees rather than just those with dependents. And also, it's fair to say that there's been an adjustment in terms of those who have miscarried. The leave will be extended. One of the headline policies from this bill, and we heard a lot about it, was ending exploitative use of 0-hour contracts. This isn't expected until 2027 and may well be watered down from the initial announcements. These measures will also apply to agency workers, so it's worth noting that. And then the removal of the current 2-year buffer before employees get unfair dismissal rights is also expected to happen in 2027. Now, from what we can see at the moment, this will include a new statutory probation period. And all of these changes are subject to consultation, so we will get to see more and have a say on what these changes may be. Now, let's face it, there are many changes on their way. And if you're concerned about any of them or have any questions, please do get in touch and we can discuss how these changes might affect you and how we can keep you compliant and prepared for the changes ahead of time. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.